Welcome to the Curren Bianchi YouTube channel. I am your host, Mike Bianchi, and today I'm giving you a tutorial of Flipaclip. This is my favorite app because it's the app that got my channel to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours to get monetized within 4 weeks off of one video that currently has about 130,000 views. And I did it on Flipaclip on my phone. Now, I noticed that Flipaclip does not have a manual, and all the videos that I've seen on YouTube have no audio. They also don't go over all the features. I had to take months just playing around with this app to find all the useful things that would have helped me tremendously in the beginning. So I'm going to walk you through all of these basic features that you may not have known existed, how to use them, what they're for, and I'm also going to timestamp them in the description. So if you need to skip ahead to a particular part, you can do so. If you find this video useful, please leave a comment. Let me know what part helped you. Subscribe to the channel and like the video, man. Like the video. That's the least you could do. All right, y'all. Let's get into this tutorial. All right, so we're going to start with the top of the screen. All right, this is pretty self-explanatory, so I'm not going to go too in depth with these. The first one is going to be the ruler tool. So if you click on the ruler at the far top, all right, so look, we start off with the line tool. Okay, you can adjust this however you need it. If you wanted to make a parallel line to this one, you can just go like that. And the cool thing about this is you can actually move this away and you can still draw a straight line wherever you need it, right? Boom, boom. If you change the slant, boom. That's pretty self-explanatory. Now, you'd be surprised how long I had this app before I realized that outside of the line tool, you can also click right over here to the circle. I know it seems so obvious, right? You can click on this circle right here. You can make your oval shapes, circles, whatever. And then boom, now you have a circle. And the same with the square tool. You can use this to make your rectangles and to make your squares. It's a pretty good tool. It comes in handy. And again, for the longest time, I was only using this line tool. Like, I had no idea. I never looked at the bottom to see that there were other options for the circle and the square. So that's the ruler. Next, we're going to go over here to the copy and paste. Again, this is very self-explanatory. If you click on this lasso tool, you can outline an image. You click up here on the copy and you click on paste. Boom. Now you have that image pasted. You can shrink the size. And if you look here at the bottom, you can also flip the image from left to right. And you can also flip it upside down. You can use this tool here to rotate the image. Boom. That's the copy and paste tool. Next, we're going to go to undo, redo. Again, this whole top bar is pretty self-explanatory. If you draw any image, I don't know what that is, but we don't want to keep that. So you simply click on the undo button. If you want to bring it back, there we go. All right, so we have that done. Let's move this back out the way so I can freely use my tools here. Undo that. We're going to go to recenter. All right, so one of the features that I use a lot is zooming in. If you take your two fingers and you spread them out, pause, you can get really close on things. So if I needed to, I could easily use the fill tool, but sometimes I like to just draw things myself. So you can get in here, you know, let's change that out. If you want to just come down here, boom, it makes it really easy to do these small crevices. Really get in there, do what you have to do. If I wanted to erase this right here, you know what I'm saying? It makes it really easy to just come in there and do small things like that. You can rotate the screen if you needed to get a different angle. And then when you're all done, you just click on this square with the 4 arrows in the corner. Boom, recentered. Okay, pretty simple. That is the top bar. That's the top bar. Everything up there, easy peasy. Now let's go on to the next one. Now this is the toolbar here where you have your pen tool, eraser, lasso, the fill, and your text. All right, so we're going to click on the pen first. Now you have 4 settings with the pen. If you click on the pen image again, you now have an option to click on the highlighter tool, the paintbrush tool, the pencil tool, or the pen tool. I like using the pen tool. That's just me. But you have these options, and you may not have known that because you may have never thought to just click on the pen image. If you've never clicked on there, you wouldn't know that you have these options here at the bottom. So if you click on your highlighter tool, that's what that looks like. We're going to click on the paintbrush tool. It's a paintbrush. We're going to click on the pencil tool just so you can see the difference between each of these. We can make that bigger. Boom, 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 boom. And that moves on to the next point. You can change the size of your strokes. Pause. If you want to have a small stroke or you want to have a big stroke, you have those options. Again, I like to use the pen, and you can do that here as well. Let's clear all of this shit up here so we can, I can show you another thing. So also on this last square here, you can change the color, right? But not only can you change the color, you can change the opacity. So say you don't want it to cover an image completely, right? You want to still be able to see under it. You change the opacity, and now you're drawing, you can still see the word toolbar under here. You can also change it right here from this screen. If you go to the color and you scroll down, you can change the opacity. You can have it go lighter, or you can bring it back up to 100. And let's just look at the difference. You see that? 100 is going to cover up the image that you draw over. And if you change the opacity to anything under that, you'll still be able to see the image beneath it. Boom. That's the pen tool. So next we're going to go to the eraser. This, come on now. We all know how to use erasers, right? I don't feel I need to go over this, but hey, you know, let's have an in-depth video. The eraser tool. You can also change the size here, you know, if you want to make it bigger. Now, here's another thing as well, since we're on here. All right, so initially it's going to start off like this when you first open the app. So when you erase, it's going to have like this fuzzy outline. So you can easily change that. I like to always have mine all the way up to 0, man. I like to have it where when I swipe, it just erases it clean. It doesn't leave any fuzziness, none of that. Now you can also change the opacity to this as well. So if you only want to erase it to 59, let me show you how that will look, right? So you see this image, you see how dark it is? And then when you hit it with that, it just becomes lighter. So you're not erasing it 100%. Okay, let's just undo that. Let me change this and do it halfway. I'm gonna do, oh, come on, that's too thick. Pause. So look, so that way you can see the difference. So you can decide how much of it you want to erase. If you just want to fade it out, you don't want to completely erase it, that's a good tool to use. And then if you want to just go back up to 100%, fuck it, let's go ahead and do it 100, right? So there you go. So it wasn't as self-explanatory as I initially stated. You can do some things with that. All right, so next we're going to go to the lasso tool. This allows you to select particular images instead of the entire image. If you just wanted to copy this 5, you just do your lasso tool around that, click the copy button, click the paste button, boom, now you have only copied that 5. Again, you can click on this to flip it, you can click on this to flip it, and you can rotate it, right? Let's do more than one image. If I wanted to copy all of these, boom, click on that, copy, paste, wow. Now you've copied those images. This is a very good tool. You're going to use this frequently. And again, you can rotate it, flip it, turn that motherfucker around, whatever you need to do. Boom. Next, we're going to go to the fill button. Click in here, select the colors, zoom in. Let's select the different colors. Bam. We all know how to use that. That was very simple. All right, next we're going to go over to our layers tab. All right. So we're going to click here at the bottom right hand side where you see the 3 rectangles with the number 1. Click on that. Now you have your layers. Okay. If you click that plus sign at the bottom, it'll add a new layer. Click the plus sign again, add a new layer. Okay. Now, the first thing that I want to mention, name your layers. Oh my God. Look, there was a video I was doing it was a 12-minute video. And if you know anything about this app, if you're recording at 12 frames per second, that means for every 1 second of video, you have to draw 12 images. And I had a 12-minute video. I was halfway done and I merged the wrong 2 layers because I didn't have them named. I lost everything. So now I make sure that if you click down here, I always like to make my bottom one because typically you're going to merge the layers above on top of the layer at the bottom. So I make my bottom layer. I always name this one main. So that way I know, do not fuck with this main. Don't touch this main one. This is where I merge everything down to. This is where everything I want to keep stays here. Now you can also, let me see if I can remember how to do this. If you go over here to the 100% sign, and if you scroll to the right, or to the left, I'm sorry, swipe to the left, you can click on the lock button. That will help as well. You can lock this so that way nothing can happen to this. You can't draw on it. You can't delete it. Like, you can't touch this layer when you have it locked. So that's a key to remember. Okay, so you want to name it by just clicking on where it says layer 1, click, or layer 4, layer 5, and then just type in the name, click update. Boom. So you want to name each layer. You go up here. Let's just write some stuff on here so we can go to the next part. We're going to make this opacity 100. We're going to bring this down, and we're just going to write here. What was this? This is a layer 4. Layer 4. Then we're going to click on here. We're going to type layer 5. All right. So the reason I did that is so I can show you the next tools here. So again, if you go to that 100% sign, if you tap on that, it will hide that layer. Okay. So if you have an image on layer 5 that is blocking something under layer 4, and you want to see what it looks like, you can just turn that off and you'll be able to see only all the layers under it. You tap back on it, it will show up. You can also put your finger on 100 and then swipe down. You can change the opacity. Again, that way you're just making it lighter. You can still see the image, but you can see through it to the layers beneath. Okay. And let's swipe back over here. You can copy the layer. If you just click right here on the copy button, boom. Now you'll see that you have layer 5, but then you also have a copy of layer 5, right? And if you want to delete the layer, let's swipe left again. Boom. That layer has been deleted. Now I want you to see right now you have layer 5, which you can hide. You have layer 4, you can hide. Now you can also merge these together. So we're going to go over here to the left where you see these 3 lines. If you hold that and move down, once you see it says merge, let that go. It's going to ask you, would you like to merge layer 5 on top of layer 4? Make sure you always read that, because you may be merging the wrong layer on top of the wrong layer. Pay attention, because you cannot undo this. Once you merge layers, it is done. This is where I messed up previously, and I had to start all the way over. I mean, I'm glad that I still continue to do it. I'm glad that I made that mistake. So now I know to name my layers and to read carefully which layer is merging on top of which layer. Because if you put the wrong layer on top, it's a wrap. So you go ahead and click merge. Boom. Now those two are one layer. You can also use this button right here. You can also use this to just move the layers. If you want to move layer 4 on top of layer 7, you can do that as well. Or you can just go back here and you can merge them down again. Okay. Boom. I believe that was all with the layers. Next, we're going to go on to your frames. This is pretty simple. So at the bottom of the screen, you can tell what frame you're on. It's going to have a red outline and it's going to have the number with a red square. So right now we're on frame 7. If you click on that, you have options. You can either add a layer before it by clicking on this square with the plus sign and the left arrow. Boom. It will add a layer, a frame before that. You can go ahead and remove that. And the converse of that, you can also click the square with the plus sign and the right arrow. And guess what that does? You guessed it. It will give you a frame in front. Boom. You can also click the delete button to delete the frames, and you can click the copy button here. Once you click that copy button, if you want to paste it in front, you click the paste button with the right arrow. And again, you can do the same thing by clicking the paste button with the left if you want it to be the frame before this. You can also delete it as well. Boom. All right, so next, after the frames, we're going to go here to the menu tab. If you click on these 3 buttons up here, boom, you have your project settings. This is where you can rename your project. You can choose a different background if you wanted to. I never use that. I like to make my own backgrounds. And you can choose your frames per second, save your changes. Yeah, that's self-explanatory. You can go to the frames viewer. All right, this is where you can view all of your frames. If you want to select them all at once, there's a button here with the square and then a dotted outline. Click on that. Boom, it selects them all. You can copy all of them, paste them. We've already gone over these buttons here. If you want to deselect certain frames, just touch them. They will deselect. Let's deselect all of these here. Let's see. If you want to just have these 2, you can do that. You can copy just those 2 and paste them wherever you need to paste them. All right. And we also have this button here. So let me just click on frame 4. Okay. So if you click on this plus sign, you can add a frame either before or after this frame, or you can paste one in between every single frame here. Now, I've never needed to use that between all, but I have used this before and after. So whatever frame you have highlighted in red, it will paste, it will create a new frame either before that frame. So look, it's not going to do it before frame 1. If I click right now, it's going to be before frame number 4. So let's click on that. Boom. You see how now there's a frame here before this 4. This is a blank frame. Let's go ahead and delete that. Let's try that again. We're going to do 4 at the plus sign. You're going to do after. Now it just added a new frame after 4. Get it? Pretty simple, right? Okay, and then again, the last one you have between all. All that's going to do is put a blank frame after each frame that you have. So if you have 9 frames, once you click this between all, you're going to have 18 frames, and in between each frame is going to be a blank one. Pretty self-explanatory. I've never had to use that, but that's how you use it. Then you have your undo and redo button. We all know what that is. That's in case you make a big fuck up, excuse my language, and you need to just take it back. Or if you need to bring something back that you know, if you feel that you need to bring it back, like, oh, you know what, I don't need the extra frame. Let's go ahead and redo that. All right, so that's all of those. What else can I do about this? Yeah, that is pretty much it for that section. We're gonna go back here. Now this is okay, before we get into this, what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to turn off the main one. Now we're getting into my favorite one here. This is the onion. Okay, I love this one, so we're gonna turn that on. And then we're going to click on the word onion to go to the options. All right, let me turn these off first. What this does, okay, this gray circle indicates the frame that you are currently on. Okay, the onion will allow you to see 1 to 5 frames before, or 1 to 5 frames after. So that way, when you're doing motion, you can see where your image was before the frame you were working on and where the image is after. So you know where you need to place your particular item on this frame. Okay? I like to keep mine at 1 and 1. because I only need to see where it was before and where it's going on the next frame. And that will let me know where this item needs to be here. And then I like to have mine colored, you can turn the color off and it will just have those ones lighter. I like to have the color so that way I know the red one is the frame before and the green one is the next frame. I like to have it colored for myself. So let's see how this is going to look. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to write a 1. That's frame 8. We're going to go to frame 9. We're going to add another frame. So now when I click on the frame in between these, now this is the frame that I'm currently on right here, right? It's showing what's on frame 8 in red. It's showing what's on frame 10 in green. But I'm on frame 9. So it's showing me where they were at. That's all that is. Okay, it's so you know where the image was the frame before, the frame after, but you were on this frame. Okay, I think we all get that. So we're going to go ahead and delete this, turn that on, make a new layer. We're on layer 8. All right, so another one here, we're going to turn off the onion. The next one is going to be the grid. Again, another good tool. I love using this one. So you can change the opacity as everything. If you want to make it lighter lines, darker lines, it's okay. The grid is not going to end up on your final project. Okay, you can have the grid on and then you can make the video. The grid is not going to show up. This is just so you can, what I use it for is to space out the movements, right? So if I want each frame to move equidistance, meaning if I draw a line here, I know on the next frame, I'll draw it at this line. On the next frame, I'll draw it on this line. Let me go here so I can show you. So if I'm on one frame and I have an image, let's say I have a stick man right here. Then on the next frame, I'll draw the stick man here. And then on the next one, I'll draw him here, here, here. So that way I know that he's moving the same distance each frame. So this is a very good tool for that. All right. And again, if you click on here, you can change the size. If you want them to be larger, if you want them to be smaller, you can make them like that. So this is a very good tool to use. And that's the grid. Okay. And after the grid, we have add image. This is self-explanatory. You can click on here. You can go to recent and click on the image. Boom. You have an image in here that you can rotate around. You can flip that jank like that. You can flip that jank like that. You could make it smaller, larger. And that's just adding an image. That's pretty self-explanatory. The same with add video. You can click on that. You can add a video. I'm not going to do it because it takes so long to render, but it's the same thing that just happened with adding the image here. It will just add a video. And lastly, we're on to the music section. This is where you can add your audio. At the bottom left-hand side, you just click on the music button. Okay, you can change the volume by going to the volume sign. And if you scroll down, it will turn that volume down. Scroll up, it will turn it up to 100. Now, before you can change the volume, you need to add some sounds. You have 3 options. Click on this plus sign here. I only use 2 of these options. One, you can click this downward arrow with the line under. This is where you can import audio that you have on your phone already. Let's see, we'll go to recent, we'll go to downloads, boom. If I wanted to add some sounds, I got some Street Fighter sounds here. Boom. You would simply click on this check sign at the top, it will add that sound. I'm not going to do that. And then again, click the plus sign. I never use this option, but you can if you want to. You can click on that. It will give you their sound packs, but I believe you have to pay for those. And I've already paid for the app, the full version. I don't need to pay for any sounds. I can get sounds for free, so I don't use that one. And then lastly, you can click on here and you can just record shit yourself. Just press and hold the record button. Subscribe to my YouTube channel right now and like this video. Boom. Go ahead and add that. Then you click this play button right here. Subscribe to my YouTube channel right now and like this video.